Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Karan Pierre. I'm your relationship guy, here to bring you the facts in dating and relationships. So today we got a very polarizing topic, and let's just get into it. We're going to be talking about Roe v. Wade and the fact that it was overturned. And then we're also going to uncover why it was overturned and what this means going forward. So let's get into it. If you have been living under a rock, you know that there was a leak a couple of months ago. Some information got out about the courts, warning the people that they were getting ready to overturn the federal law that prohibited abortion across the 50 states. So let's see what the court exactly say. The Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and they said there's no longer a constitutional right. The opinion is the most consequential Supreme Court decision in decades and will transform the American landscape of women's reproductive health in America. And that's a very deep statement because if you overturn abortion, this could possibly mean that women will turn to getting illegal procedures done where, it's done by some doctor in a basement somewhere. That can be dangerous, right? It also can create more single parent households. And the reason why it possibly could create more single parent households is because it's like taking a form of birth control away, even though it's not really birth control, because there are other things you can do to prevent pregnancy. But for people who are low income, they rely on abortion when they find themselves in a situation with it to create a child and they can't take care of the child. So you're taking away that option, right? So going forward, abortion rights will be determined by the states unless Congress acts. And basically, that statement about Congress acting is a very hopeful statement, right? Because the president, he talked about Biden he talked about Congress coming through to try to codify the law. And but codifying laws means that they're organizing it. So it's not necessarily that they're creating a new law, right? It's just that they can take it and make modifications to any judgments that has been placed by the Supreme Court. So that's basically breaking down what the courts say. So now why would they do this, right? It seems like in 2022, especially living in America, that we want to actually create more justifiable human rights to help protect people and help preserve their rights. So why would you take away certain things like this, right? So in his majority opinion, Justice Samuel Alito, a lot of people are not a fan of this guy, a Republican appointee, explained that the right simply has never existed, right? Abortion presents a profound moral question, he wrote. The Constitution does not prohibit the citizens of each state from regulating or prohibiting abortion. Roe, he wrote, wasn't simply wrong. It was so wrong as to the amount to an abuse of judicial authority, right? So at least on the federal level, when they're arguing this principle, they're not looking at it from solely a religious view. They're saying that based off of certain legal terminology or standards, that they never even had a right to even put the legislation in the first place. And that to me is kind of crazy, right? So this new ruling is being called Dobbs versus Jackson's Women's Health. And Alito, he argued that the approach was crucial for understanding why abortion couldn't be constitutionally protected. Until the later part of the 20th century, such a right was entirely unknown in American law, he says. Indeed, when the 14th Amendment was adopted, 3/4 of the states made abortion a crime at all stages of pregnancy. Some historians have argued that Alito's view of history, which has been laid out in the draft opinion, that was the leak that I talked about earlier, it wasn't complete. But honestly, it was good enough to actually convince them to overturn this decision, right? So Alito, he also acknowledged that a major precedent was being overturned, but he argued that it had been done because the justices who decided Casey actually made a mistake by relying too heavily on precedent. The court is not required to uphold previous rulings simply because it's already on the books, he wrote. In fact, the Constitution and the rule of law demand that the question of abortion could be returned to the states. So that's what they did with this decision. Now, this decision, as you can see, based on what the justice said, it's a legal parameter, not necessarily a religious parameter. So this is some of the reasons why Roe v. Wade was overturned. So what's next, right? What is next? It's a sad day for the court and for the country. President Biden said, speaking from the White House, calling for Congress to codify the right to an abortion, something that's unlikely given the split balance of the power of the Senate. Yeah, like I said, in at least 7 states, officials say that abortion bans can now be enforced, right? So you have a bunch of states that are already moving forward with this. They were waiting for this announcement from the Supreme Court. So 3 states, Kentucky, Louisiana, South Dakota, have so-called trigger bans that went into effect automatically. So yeah, so these states, they like I said, they automatically have bans. And then 10 other states have trigger bans with the implementation mechanisms that could occur after a set period or after a step taken by a state government entity, right? And then also at least 21 states have laws or constitutions already in place that would make certain to attempt to ban abortion as soon as possible, right? So, wow. So that's pretty much half the country. Half the country has moved forward to ban abortions. So what can we do to protect and preserve women's rights? Well, luckily, the end to this federal law doesn't prohibit states from making the decision. So if you live in a state like in New York, like I live in New York, we more than likely abortion would never be banned here. In fact, the governor spoke out and said that abortion is a woman's right. You know, she's a woman and she was for the right. I don't have the direct quote in front of me, but I've read like at least 10 news publications on it. And so this is what's going on in our country. I mean, what are your thoughts? I would like to know your thoughts. Please put them in the comment box below. I definitely will read and respond. Thank you for tuning in. And we also talked about this on the Mature Topics podcast, live each Thursday. Definitely check out the Mature Topics podcast. It won't disappoint. We probably will definitely touch on this subject this week. I haven't said the topics, but this topic is definitely an important topic. So, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please take the time to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon so you get all your notifications, and then like the video so more cool people can check out the video. So until next time, stay blessed.